Vivat Grendel. Before we get the episode started, I just want to send some love and thoughts out to everyone affected by the Los Angeles wildfires. I'm here in Woodland Hills, a place that is being affected right now. We're in an evacuation warning right now, so I don't have to go, but it could be soon. So we're lucky at this point. So many have been affected so much worse than us, especially one member of our Grendel family, Stephen T. SEAGLE, the writer of the book we're covering today on today's episode. So I just want to send so much love and everything out to Stephen. If you guys want to help, I got a link down in the comments where you can send to a GoFundMe for Steve, or there's lots and lots of ways to help all those affected by these fires. It's just completely unthinkable. This photo that Steve posted, I can't even begin to imagine how that feels. But what we can do is help him rebuild, help everyone rebuild, and do what we can. So just check the comments for all that stuff and do what you can. Reach out to those that you love that are in the area. And I'll let you know next episode how we fared. So enjoy the episode. Ben and I just want to thank you all for, sticking with us all these eps. And we'll talk soon. Keep on Grendelin. Alrighty, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben, and we're back for our 130th episode. A new book, Paul Grist.
Yes.
Devil in Our Midst.
Devil in Our Midst.
David Eggers festival review. Watched all kinds of David Eggers stuff this week.
Yes.
And
we both saw Nosferatu, and I haven't got to talk to you since you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
What a picture. Yeah, of course. It was fantastic.
What a picture.
Yeah.
What a picture, man.
The pictures in this picture do a great job of telling the story.
Right.
And I think that, and also the shadows in the transitions were so cool.
So sick.
I feel like there were details in the crazy prosthetics and makeups that I might have missed, but I found it very effective otherwise.
I found it very cool. I'll tell you, me and Tanish got the last seats in the theater, and we sat right up front. So, we were a little crick back. Luckily, we were in those little recliners, but still, I was like all the way back, and I still had to look back and forth like this. But, I really liked it. And Tanisha said she thought it was her favorite horror movie in her favorite horror movie. So
you guys were sitting in the splash zone.
Yes, we literally were. I had to go like this when his dick came out, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, I also think it's like one of my favorite recent horror movies.
Yeah. Scary as hell. I was frightened.
I went back to try to watch The Lighthouse. I was so excited again. I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, let me try The Lighthouse again." And it was still The Lighthouse, but I like it enough. But it was, this is really different.
And Matt posted his first short based on the Telltale Heart.
Yeah, it's an adaptation of the Telltale Heart. It's very good. It's got one of the hallmarks that he has is that like the old timey, like the well researched props are actually used like in like a historical way. So the whole thing is around the butler doing this very like prescribed Victorian butler dance. So it like has that accuracy thing going nice. Through that. Yeah. Plus a lot of movie stool samples and poops.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Stool samples and poops. Set design had a good time with that. Hopefully, then. How's
Cosmic Lion Productions?
Going great, man. I'll tell you, I worked on stuff all day today. I shipped out a bunch of the pre-orders for the second print run of Bernie Moreau's tribute zine. The what am I calling it? The Bernie zine. It's a honking tome now, and like I said, it's got 10 additional pages featuring the story from Chad in Amsterdam, the Dutch Inquisition. So it's just an honor to again do this, to put it out, to correct some misspellings, and get a new version out into the world. Still available on CosmicLionProductions.com. And dipping into the mailbag this week, I procured this Billy 99 from the Kickstarter. I didn't procure it, but it was fun. It finally arrived. Again, another beautiful, beautiful book. Early Tim Sale. You cannot go wrong. They printed it beautifully. The colors are new too, right?
Can I see the spine?
Yeah, it was black and white, I think, when Kamiko did it.
Oh, really nice.
Cool. Yeah, Kamiko did it, and it was like duotone, like turtle style. Oh, it's still it's preserved here. You can't see it anyway,
I
but
see.
it's colored. You couldn't see, man.
Well, yeah. Well, I hope that you had some good Tim Sale thoughts while you read that book.
I definitely will, man. I definitely will. So I think without further ado, Ben, we might as well just get in and describe, get into detail
We'll
of the
detail it.
devil in our midst.
Two in the box, ready to go. Maybe fast, maybe slow. Yeah. Vivat Grendel.
It's like the devil is my best friend. Hunter rose with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
Alrighty, we are back. Thanks again to Manus and Zach for kicking the theme song once again. All right, Ben, tell us about this story. Let's talk about it.
This is May 1994. We were both boys reading X-Men books when it came out. Steve Siegel is back for, I think, his first long-form Grendel tale. He might have one more. I think I'm most
He did the
familiar...
Ho-Che Anderson, the very first.
Oh, that's right.
Grendel. Yeah.
But not the one with Wiggins, where we do the Wiggins backstory. That
was
James
Disraeli
Robinson.
and James Robinson. Yeah.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
So
he did that.
House of Secrets with Teddy, Sandman Mystery Theater with Matt.
A ton of Wildstorm work. I got his Wikipedia up. Justice League, Green Lantern. I mean, he went on to do a ton. I mean, he did a ton of work before and after. Alpha Flight, X-Men, Uncanny 350, the big, huge one that was like the big trial of Gambit. I don't know if you remember that, the fold out, glistening Joe Madureira. Oh, man, so good. Okay, so Stephen T. Siegel here, he has an amazing body of work.
So does Paul Grist. Don't forget Paul Grist. This is my first Paul Grist comic.
Yeah.
The best thing about Paul Grist, besides how great he is that he letters his own work, which Teddy also did in Four Devils One Hell and probably in other places. It's a good auteur compositional move to letter your own work, it would seem.
Yes, I love Paul Grist's, especially his stylistic view, his stylistic way. It's a little more undergroundy than we see usually in Grendel here. It's weird. It's stylistic and amazing and different and hulking and
for as different different the style is. Mm-hmm. The layouts are super, super clear.
Clear. They break panel borders in its own way, and it's they're
clear and creative. He's he knows when to rock the grid and when to break it and be innovative and bring in the devices. That's what this book is full of.
Yeah, and we have to say, colored by Bernie and KATHRYN DELANEY. So this is painted animation cell style. Hey, I do have a page. I own a page of original Grist art and Bernie colors for this.
No kidding.
I want to show you, but it's spoilerific, and so I can't show you yet.
And then also, this is Bernie's best, the best work that we've seen from Bernie.
Yeah,
since the ongoing series, since he was also penciling and stuff. All the rendering and that we've been you're kind of looking for in War Child. It's here in spades. Crazy.
Yeah. And an evolution of the Bernie isms that we say, kind of beyond a spinny spirals and stars into this type of interpretation of texture and in this beautiful way.
I think it's just that this style, the team and the style fit together. It colors it the way it looks like Paul Grist would have if he'd had the chance.
Agreed. A perfect symbiotic fusion, baby.
All right, so what's this? Eli, don't. This is one of your first and favorite stories,
Yes.
and it's also it's like a very loving like reskinning of the thing with elements of Alien. So
Yes.
before we get into the whole thing, can we break down just the plot and story of this issue? Jonah the Lone Red Grendel. Oh man,
That's right.
What's
That's
he gonna
right.
get up to?
I mean, we never know. Maybe these guys are from a certain area. One thing I thought, what if like colors of Grendels like grew from like football teams? Like, look, this is because I've been watching football this whole season with Tanisha, and it's the first time I ever got into football. But it made me think of these like Grendel clans because of like how their sportsmanship and how they go crazy and they dress up and they do all this different stuff. Like, and I've been watching as Baltimore Ravens. It just makes me think like these colors, this type of shit would have grown into Devil or Grendel clans. I think, especially like once we get to Devil May Care, when it's like it is based around a sport. Anyway,
Well, I think that the answer,
so
one way to look at an answer might be a question that this one sort of throws at us the whole time is how far is it since the Khanate fell?
oh yes, right.
And it seems like there's some clues that seems like it might still be running during this time. That the corporations are still running.
Yes,
right. So that's a very good thing to understand here.
Yeah, this is between like Khanate time, but before Epi Thatcher, right? Because the Khan is Khan's still alive in Epi Thatcher. It's after
Epi's before Orion Rises.
Yeah, that's true. Orion's still young. His sisters. Guys, I'm losing track.
There's a lot of timeline going on.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
It focuses on a UNOW toxic waste dump.
Exactly.
Up in Antarctica.
Yeah.
And
it's really like, without wasting a lot of time, someone straight blows up. Someone's like, fuck you. They scratch Grendel eyes in their face and go, poof.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a Grendel virus drug. Yeah. The Grendel drug Primacin.
Oh, that's right.
And it's the like chemical residue is being like frozen and spilled, and it's highly flammable.
Yeah.
And these the guys from the movie The Thing, their like eyes grow Grendel eyes and their bodies explode. Okay, great.
Oh, you didn't think he like scratched his eyes like that? You felt like the eyes like came through or something?
Oh, I think on Goodreads I read those words, so maybe that's what I was thinking. Anyway, okay. The paranoia is that it couldn't possibly be the chemicals that we've been tasked to bury out in the middle of nowhere. It must be the outsider Grendel who has arrived with a death wish and nothing else. Like he's like, no, don't bring me in. I want to die. And like,
yeah, he's like, I already want to die.
Don't be silly. And Ellen Ripley's
I'm not here
like, I'm running this shit. Yeah. So it's a very competent, loving, and fun mix of the things that you love about The Thing.
Yeah.
And Grendel, when did you see The Thing first? You like The Thing? Did you grow up with The Thing?
Hey, I did not grow up with The Thing. This is gonna piss off people out there, but I saw the sequel first. The sequel prequel. I saw that first and was like, I fucking love everything about this. And my friend was like, yeah, it's a Thing sequel. And I was like, the huh? Because they didn't tell you that movie was the sequel to The Thing. I can't remember what it was called. It was called something else. And then I went and watched The Thing that very night. And I'm like, I watch it all the time now. So it's fairly new for me, but I love it to death. And Alien I watched all growing up. There was Alien toys, like action figures. I think Aliens action figures when I was growing up, So it was like those figures were in play. So I've been with Alien forever.
I didn't know that John Carpenter was a big deal because the only movies I saw from him were the ones he made in the 90s that like went to HBO.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, what's the big deal here? So I didn't hear The Thing until like I got out of college, and like older guys were like slightly older were like, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing, right? It's such an amazing idea. The head upside down, turning into the spider, the dog like
it's
all of that
so
shit
surreal.
Is amazing.
So surreal, so paranoid.
Such a good
so
sci-fi.
Much fun. Yeah. A fantastic. If you're gonna just take anything, why not take this? And Paul Grist really, really kills it with all his transitions and simple design and making it work. So that's the stories we can remember. Now we can unpack
dive
all
right
the
in.
devices.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's the cover. We're gonna get into. We're gonna get more into the covers
by Matt.
with a special guest. Yeah, Matt's gonna come on and tell us because he did an amazing thing for these covers. I've seen one of them in person, I think, but it's cool. He'll tell us about that at a later date. All right. So it's cool the way it starts too, because it starts like in the middle of nothing. He's floating, and we didn't even talk about this. It's got like a cold open, straight up cold open, so he's, we hear these voices. Oh, Ben, you love this.
I love how direct the color coding is. I think that color coded narrative captions and tailless balloons are the way of the future. There's no need to worry about the balloon tails getting tangled up if you just color code the caption.
Well, dude, the colors kind of didn't transfer here in the omnibus colors on Kindle here, because in the book there's 3 colors. Granted, the tan and the yellow are very close, but it didn't really transfer here. It looks like the same. Looks like only 2 people talking here.
Anyway, the weird thing about this is that he's sitting here, and then we flash back like 90 minutes earlier.
Yeah, even again, yeah. And
we had a question about these pirates, which is, are these pirates Grendels or not? Is this a burgeoning clan thing?
Right, but it doesn't seem like they are Grendels, because they're like, you don't want to fuck with a Grendel. It's bad luck,
Well,
so
I think that they're fake clan pirate Grendels, and they recognize that this guy is like a real military.
Yeah.
He's like done up like a Khanate ninja man. Isn't that weird?
It's really cool,
right? Because they were always in those samurai helmets and stuff.
Yeah,
and the crazy
the
shoulders.
Yeah, man. So cool. And gosh, I say this every single time. How many different ways you can express this character. And so we're coming in here, and that's just probably one of the things that made me love this one so fast, other than the style, is
he was red.
It's different. It's always black. It's so cool. All right, and I love this like Wolverine style, the reflection in the sword here.
Oh,
I don't see any. I'd love to see the original art for that, because I don't see any holding lines. So is that like straight up Bernie doing it? Was that Bernie like, oh my God, I got a good idea, Paul? What if I paint the face? I don't know. Maybe it was anyway. Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah, Bernie finds ways to bring this to life in every panel.
Oof. And
this is maybe my favorite coloring work I've seen by him in years.
This whole issue.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, just to reiterate for everyone, you've never read this before, and you're not reading ahead. So every episode, it'll be the first time you've looked at it.
The other 4 issues could have nothing to do with the thing. I'd be totally surprised.
Nah, they continue. This is beautiful. And again, the story.
They set them off to shore. They're somewhere near Antarctica, but these guys are so tough they don't need t-shirts.
Oh, you're right. They're like, maybe they have invisible shirts.
Yeah.
But they're like, we can't kill this Grendel. Just like throw him out eject him out the airlock. And then we flash to the UNOW dump site, like you said. And here we're introduced to our main cast of characters. We got Caroline. She's the leader. She's like, kind of this Ripley-esque leader. We got Alexander. He's your Wilford Brimley style, mustachioed, but interesting new character. He does he have a past? Does he know something?
He knows about Grendels.
About Grendels. And then we've got your classic douche, Drake.
Yeah, Drake is like dressed like my dad, or like the guys in the thing in just a brown sweater with a dress shirt underneath.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would love like a UNOW shirt. I feel like that would be a funny in-universe kind of shirt. So, so Alexander runs in and he's like, there's a dead bud out there. You got to go. He might have diabetes.
Yeah.
I'll only make the one joke about it.
Yeah, well, there's tension immediately between Drake and Ripley, and
like it's been there. It already exists. It's not
everything's fucked for these people. Yeah. They've been there for years. It seems like getting weekly shipments of toxic waste to deal with, and for the last 2 months, no one's shown up, and they haven't been. They're out of contact. So there's literally like
there was a major issue. There was like a meltdown.
images from the thing where they're like on the radio, like keep calling, like that's a panel, like so it's like very specifically callbacky.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Love it. And then again, we're back to well, we don't know his name yet, but here he is. So he washes up ashore, and here we see these dumping sites. And so, I didn't think of this before, but maybe, the people are going crazy. I'm sure these wolves are going crazy too. So they're ingesting the dump. They're ravenous. They're vicious. They're maybe mutated. They're these, these mega wolves, and they attack.
Silverbacks.
Large.
Yeah. All right, cool. So they fight him, and then this guy's a death wish. That's the whole.
Yeah.
He
He's like, fuck it. I'm just going to, you know what?
Yeah.
Don't even need to fight. I'm done.
Yeah. I remember like gushing from like how grisly like the vampire booby scene was or whatever. Like this one, the guy just like letting like wolves tear his throat out is pretty.
It's pretty grisly.
Pretty rough. Yeah. Anyway, so
look at this jacket. I want it.
Yeah, Ripley shows up, bails him out. He doesn't want to go.
No, he's like, leave me.
Whatever.
Kill me.
Whatever. So they get on this
killer jet ski, I gotta say. Killer little ski-doo.
Snowmobile, yeah.
Love it. And they kind of instantly have this connection or something, she saved him, he had a death wish, he doesn't care. He's being super open. He's just talking. He's like, she's basically asked him his story, and here we get a flashback, which is one thing that makes me think, society seems somewhat put together, so that it's at this certain point in the Khanate's reign where like there's a draft or there's open draft.
Things are so bad he can't feed his family. This is his only option to families to sign his life away as a Grendel.
Yeah. He goes in and then he's like, when do I report? And she's like, you just did.
I think what Caroline is doing on the left is trying to find any form of hope. Like maybe she still sees like she actually sees Grendel, just like Alexander likely does, see them as this like potential like competent form of help savior. Yeah. Right. So this lady, the recruiter, is in straight up samurai shoulder pieces.
Oh yeah, you're right. And you were making me think over here. Maybe Caroline's like, maybe he hurt his head and can't remember everything, but maybe he was sent here to save us. Maybe he does have a radio or a communication, or you're right. So she's trying to ingratiate herself so that maybe something can happen here. And we're back to the zone, and they're like, and so here's a reaction of all the dumping. This is Antarctica, right? And so, stuff has gone down, spilled, opened, boiled, coagulated.
It's reactive, so it's causing earth tremors. That's what's happening in the second panel. This is a plot point here.
Very cool.
It's not stable. There's no tectonic plates, but obviously the primusin chemicals are so the very Grendel urge itself is sunken into the earth.
Exactly. And maybe that's part of the metaphor, man.
What's a metaphor?
And so they continue to like connect and talk. And I believe this is where she's telling them about vitrium and the leaked chemicals and more about exactly like what's causing all this shit.
Yeah, that they're cut off from contact. I think they're going to, oh, right. She just like brings him into quarantine, right? So like, hey, without any warning, here's my 8 coworkers who all hate me.
Yeah, already. They're like, hey guys, I mean, who cares if he's got something? They should have stripped him naked and had those big brushes, like they do in the sci-fi movies. They're always like brushing people down in the shower.
Yeah, 12 Monkeys does that.
12 Monkeys. I think there's a scene
Super
in
Troopers.
Demolition Man. They like unfreeze him.
Yeah.
Austin Powers.
Everything's been, not everything, but like 95% of the panels have been on grids, and he just finds different, whether it's this one where he breaks it up or the way he plays with rhythm. There's the inset panels of the reactions. He always finds a way to make it happen. No one trusts nobody, and then this guy's eye he hasn't scratched out, it starts bleeding.
It looks like it's bleeding from like under his scalp or something. So like his like head starts bleeding, and then maybe he rubs it.
I think it's
And
a
then that makes
scar
the
that
Grendel
grows
eyes.
like this.
You think it's a scar?
Yeah, I think it's something. I think it's
like
like it's.
rift. In...
I think it's a skin starting to tear apart.
Whoa, that's sick. That's even more grisly. Hey, what is it that you call it too? Like that Matt does a lot, where he shrinks figures down and simply creates them. He does this really well.
Like
too.
changes the detail for the scale.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, different
Oh
facial
man,
expressions, just like shrinking into single gestures.
This next panel is
the
insane.
one.
This whole page right here.
Man.
Da, 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 you know,
easily dynamic.
Yeah, you can clearly see and feel it, and you're drawn in. And Bernie with the colors there, like this is kind of like what I was talking about with the evolution of the Bernieisms, because we're seeing it here in like splatter, and we're seeing it here in paint, and we're seeing it in color. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, you were talking earlier about the way that he does the rendering in the highlights, in the blood and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what's crazy about this spread with all the super dynamic action that finally explodes is that, you know, we've already had like pirates, earthquakes, wolf attack, but like nothing's been quite this. You know, nothing's been off kilter like this so far.
Yeah.
So the contrast is very effective.
Yeah. And so while he's already here, what is his name? Isaac, right?
Jonah.
Oh shit. Yeah. I knew it was biblical. So he's coming at him, you know, and he kind of immediately, what does he like smash him off like this? Like whaps him off. He's like, F. He's like, so comes back and they're battling, pulls off a pipe, cracks him, then starts coming after him. And then Jonah for a second, like, he's like, stop it, Wayne.
He looks like Daredevil. It's awesome.
Yeah. With the pipe and shit. Oh, man. And then there he goes. He's like, why don't you?
Great Zappa.
Remison. Destruction. This is so sick. The way it's like, I don't know. It's almost like his body caved in behind his ribs. A fire like set at the base of his like his like spine. And so this fire is like erupting out through an already like blown out rib cage. It's like, love it.
Ripley's like very matter of fact. She's like,
yeah,
guys, get mops.
They're unfazed, Ben.
For Brimley, take Jonah to quarantine. Obviously, we gotta make sure he's not carrying anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna introduce him to you all first, and then we'll get him to quarantine, like you said. It's like, nah.
She's gonna duke it out in her office with this guy. Yeah, Drake sucks.
We don't know that Drake. He's like, it's absolutely the Grendel. And then Drake
is probably right.
You know what? A lot of times in these movies, yeah, the guy who's like, we need to get out of here. They're like, no, we should investigate these aliens. And it's like,
he doesn't want anything to do with Grendel. Why did you? I think he's smart enough to be like, nothing good comes out of Grendel. Yeah. And she probably saw some kind of. She's like, he's red. I got a red bandana. Maybe it's fate.
Dude, our colors match. Okay.
I think he threaten her at the end of the scene. Oh yeah, the color is so cool.
Oh yeah,
with a yellow yellow
I'm ahead,
panel.
I think here. Yeah.
No, you're good.
I'm good. Okay, all right. Yeah.
No,
the yellow.
Back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
great
backlight
way to
of
end the
Drake
scene.
here.
Yeah, he does a really great job with just like these hitting the emotional tones, stuff like that. And he's basically says, if you screw up again, like we both know you're a screw up for just bringing him in here without even like this seems like straight out of Alien. Yeah, like, if you do it again, I'm gonna blah blah blah. Paul Grist lettering his own work keeps it really good, keeps it really tight in this hallway scene.
Yeah, and I have to tell you too, I keep thinking about when you're painting these colors, you're doing it like backwards, and you're having to lay down colors like by layers manually.
Yeah, you gotta.
There's a lot.
You need to know which one. Yeah, which colors have to go where. The smallest details have to go down first.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Interesting.
Anyway, so we see Alex and
also it's never going to be done this way again. Like it hasn't. You know what I mean? Like there's like maybe I don't know. Just like it's so.
It's
like
arcane. You could do it this way and like on Procreate, but it's like you don't need to. You know, you can still.
Well, wouldn't it would be digital? It wouldn't be paint.
Yeah. I
All
mean,
right. So what does Alexander know about the Grendels?
he knows the oath.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so he's like, are you going to, you know, Jonah, why, well, I thought you're supposed to lose all name and face. I shall lose name, station, and face, you know? And so he's like, what do you know of Grendel? And he's like, well, you know, a little more than I let on, you know? And he calls him
Jonah's dumb. Everyone knows about Grendel. Grendel is culture.
Yeah, okay.
Grendel is the culture.
It is.
Yeah.
There's been a successful movie franchise for hundreds of years. I say this every time, but we forget how infiltrated it is. There is Christine Spar sweatpants at Target, you know, in this world.
You want to see a great transition?
I sure do.
Hit me.
Hit me, boom, damn it. Win a little bit.
Wow.
Yes.
Cue for quarantine.
Yep.
That's great.
It's almost like
this is such a great page.
This is an amazing page too. This spread. I'm glad we get to look at it like spreads like this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a thing on the right with the heavy margins where the captions sort of just have their own gutter space to interact and play with. That's a very clever design. Simple, clever, direct design decision.
It's kind of like encouraging to me as a creator. I almost never am like the first thing I do when I look at a page and I'm like, well, you can't do a grid, you know, but now I'm like, maybe I could. Maybe you could do it, you know.
Yeah, you got to set the meter, the mundane meter with the grid so that when you break against that it will be all the more dynamic. Yeah, man.
All right, good call.
So this is the Grendel initiation. This seems a bit like maybe things aren't going so good. Like maybe the Khanate is you know, if they're doing it this way, seems perhaps more extreme than Orion's method.
Right. I think they're taking it. Oh, did you say Orion's wit? What?
Orion's methods doesn't seem like something he'd want to.
What were those one guys? The Red Devils. The Red Devils.
Red Devils.
Don't you think they did something like this? Don't you think they had initiation? You know, like colleges, they brand you and shit. They burn like their logo in your arms. It just, I mean, this is name, station, and face.
And face.
Blam!
Wow. When they give this, it seems like he doesn't want it. You know.
Well, the way he's doing it for his kids, not because he wants to be a
Grendel. But he's like, but by the time they do this, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't not do it now.
Yeah. And so you know, he might have lost everything that there is to live. You know, like who knows what his life became in his quest for Grendalia. And did he get weekends off? Did he get the Khan's birthday off to like go see his family, or, you know, does he get stationed somewhere? You know, how does it happen?
I think Paul Grist is such a great addition to this stable of artists because there's so many places here where it's like, oh, it looks and feels like a Tim Sale page.
I think so too, and he's even a little more stylistic, you know. And again, I was just, when I was looking through Billy 99 at the start of the show, I was immediately hit by like, you know, there's so much Tim Sale Grendel. And so, you know, when I think about Grendel in my head, if it's not Matt, it's everybody. But yeah. Hey guys, this book is beautiful. Go get Billy 99 hardcover. Anyway, yeah, I agree, man. But it's not, you know, it's not too close or anything.
No, it's just that, you know, when you look at all these guys, there's creative DNA in the water that gets shared, and you can see it through decades.
I see Paul Grist on the socials. I'm gonna have to reach out to him and see if I can at least get a quote.
All right. Well, we have one more page. One more page.
Oh, here we go.
Bernie
okay, I love it. It ends right on a beautiful ending, a cliffhanger, you know. And again, we see this explosion, this kind of blowout, and so, you know, we did have a perfect grid here until the explosion and it went clink, you know. So we're seeing this motion and it's knocking the grid even off its axis.
It's one of those classic Grendel pages that's so well designed that you could show it to anyone and they'd say, comics can do some really interesting things.
Yeah. And that this is the end of the story. That this is the end of the first issue. Now it does, we didn't say earlier, but it does go into Glistening Part 2, the Grendel Devil's Quest story.
Yeah, you don't
Absolutely
have pages.
glorious.
You have like the Dig Dug pages, right?
I do actually have pages from Glistening Part 1, I believe.
Part 1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is some good.
No, you know what? I have some
good
from this
stuff.
too. They're at the house though.
All right. So in the letters pages are in response to a question that I guess Di posted about intimacy and monogamy, and a lot of people write a lot of stuff. It's
Yeah. And Matt at the end is just basically like, P.S. from Matt Wagner. Fuck you all. This whole thing is getting much too whiny for my taste. Next subject. Next.
That's cool. I didn't realize that the Vertigo Sandman Mystery Theater ad was in this book. That's great.
Yeah. And it's for issues 17 through 20. So it's Matt and Stephen T. Siegel, like Matt and Steve Siegel together right there, you know?
Right.
So this book clearly came out of that yes, I love this.
Bleeding and Crying is a new. I feel like how many books are sort of designed like this? Like four.
All the
five?
Grendel Tales are like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then what's next is the Darko McCann stuff.
I can tell you. Let's see. If we go past it on the thing here, let's see if I can go.
That'll be crazy to finally get into that stuff. Oh my god.
Dude, we can go wherever we want with these Grendel Tales, honestly. I don't feel like we should stick to any major thing. I went back to the beginning of the omnibus here. I have this is volume 1 of Grendel Tales omnibus. Devil's Worship, which is the Hoche and Steve T. Siegel. 4 Devils, 1 Hell, Devil's Hammer, Devil in Our Midst, Devils and Deaths. So yeah, we have been doing it in order, I guess. So Devils and Deaths is next.
Which one's that?
And that is, let me look. I think that's the Dark.
That's with the like werewolf, with lightsabers and Bigfoot. Yeah,
Can't remember.
Edvin Bukovic.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Great.
That is all right. So yeah, we are getting into that next. Perfect.
Exciting.
All right. Sorry, I was over on that. Yeah, dude. I mean, but we still have. I actually noticed I don't have all the issues of this. I need 4 and 5.
What?
I know it's crazy. I guess I think I have a trade. I think there's a trade of it.
Yeah, I think it's in the style with the pastel spines. There's like 5 or 6 of them. Tales.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Sweet.
Well, I'm excited to read more of this. I like that. My favorite thing about it is that it focuses on UNOW, like Wayland Utani.
Utani.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that it sort of gives us that marker in terms of like society falling. And where it fits in. That's a very cool.
Yeah.
Little subtle piece.
Because the other Steve Siegel, and the Hoche, that one was about UNOW, and there was like a protest at a college,
student
and the
riot.
guy got a tattoo.
Yeah.
There's a student riot.
That's the very first tale.
The very first one, because it's like the backup of the very last issue of Grendel Volume 2. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when the Kamiko bullshit happened.
All right. Well, I'm excited to read more of this. It looks like there's all kinds of good Grendel and stuff.
There is tons of Grendel to do, man.
Yeah.
So
this is my first. I told you I had a bunch of Paul Grist books.
Yes, that's right.
I lost the first issue of Jack Staff, so I can't read any of them.
Now you can't read anything.
Bummer.
Damn it. You'll find it. It's got to be in the house somewhere.
All right, fella. Well,
buddy.
That was great.
So much fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben. Until next week, Vivat Grendel.
Keep on Grendeling, everybody.